Okay, so we will try this one more time. All right, that looks a lot better. Much, much, much better. All right. Ooh. So, yeah. Welcome to my greenhouse. Today, I was trying to show earlier, and let's hope that I can get down here. Snow, not much, but snow nonetheless. So I moved my angraecum back over this way just because I thought it was getting a little bit too cold. Over there, this is it right here. The buds are still okay on that. That's the plant. The little pups down there are still intact. And this finally that's a highlight today. Finally opened up. This is still. It's getting closer and closer every day. And I noticed on this, which upon closer, well, I shouldn't say closer, from a distance, this plant looks like it has been, the blooms are going over. Still pretty waxy, but they are going over. They're going over. And as I looked at the plant and I looked down the stem, you can kind of see how on these canes, how it's darker with the spots. And over here, these canes look like they're getting lighter. They're not the same color at all, as opposed to this cane, which is still starting to get some of that look. These are dark all the way down. These are starting to brown. But despite that, I looked a little closer on the plant, and I found more buds coming. There's a bud right there. If I can focus in on it. But that is a flower bud. That's possibly a flower bud. up here on this cane. That looks like that's going to be another flower spike. And you can see how the cane is black all the way down. So I know that those canes on this side of the plant are healthier than these over here. You can even see that these canes still have some development at the top where the leaves are still coming out, whereas these canes so yeah, more flowers to come. That is good. That is good. I was just getting ready to move that plant because this has buds on the spike. That's one thing about this little hybrid. This is a little vigorous sucker. When it begins its spike, it flowers almost immediately and has a long bloom cycle. This is a Mobilus crossed with Lobii. So, but yeah, that's gonna be, it's still got a while to go before that's gonna open up. So, still looking pretty nice. I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue to show this off throughout the live. Hey Denise, how's your Saturday going? You can see I've got snow out there. This is my adorable upwind that I've been talking about so much, of course. That's my hand next to the flower. And I'm still positive that those growths down there are going to be spikes as well. And speaking of bulbos, yeah, 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 okay. You know, I was thinking that, I've been making such a big deal about me being more out here, warming this greenhouse, watering them more regularly, fertilizing a little bit. And it just makes it a little bit more difficult, I think, because on days like today, and there's going to be a lot more of these days, it's really hard to keep my greenhouse with humidity. Even when I have 1, 2, and I've got one back there, and I've got one over in that corner. I have 4 humidifiers, and I would bet, hey Don, thank you, Don. I love them too, But I bet, well, I am wrong. See, it's a piddly, no, I'm not hating you. I'm not hating you at all. 65 over here and 60% humidity. That's over there near the humidifier. Who knows what it is throughout, but it's a lot harder to maintain. And I think the plants are able to deal with that if I completely almost shut the greenhouse down. I still have the lights on and the humidifiers going, but I'm not watering. They're pretty much on cool. Like, I'll get the temperature to where it's hovering around 50. Well, that's great. That's great, Don. I would love to see them. What's your favorite orchid? No, that's a tough question. But it's almost more difficult when you're really trying to grow in here during the winter and you struggle with the humidity and the plants still sulk on days like today, and we have lots of those days. But this is what I was being such a weirdo about the other day when I talked about this plant, about how these tiny little pseudobulbs are gonna bloom. And there's another one over here that is just so cute. I mean, look at that. That is cute. But that one down there takes the cake. So yeah, it is more of a struggle when you're actually trying to promote growth, and then you're also competing against the humidity. It's almost better to just, like I said, shut it down, turn the heat down, not water them, just sort of let them be at that constant chill until spring really comes. So, and I need to give this more water. These soak up the water, I tell you. I'm sure you all know that. These Maxillaria tenifolia types. I mean, these are the newest growths. They might not even bloom because they just look so thin and weak. Weak. But I'm liking my Phalaenopsis. They're doing okay. They sure are. But yeah, everybody. I am also going to give away this Neo today. We're going to pick a number between 1 and 15 pretty soon. And wow, I am loving this, the back of it as well. That little orange back there in the stem that's yellow. Really like that. Okay, I got you, Denise. Yeah. So I am going to go. Well, maybe I'll just start right here and go over some of my Brassavolas. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing, is talking about my Brassavolas. We all know Brassavolas. It's a genus of, 20 or so orchids. They were named by the botanist Robert Brown. And the Brassavola name came from the Italian physician and nobleman, Antonio Musa Brassavola. And I am saying Brassavola. I know everybody else says Brassavola. Well, the majority of the people say Brassavola, I would say. But ever since I heard Bill Toms say Brassavola, and then I heard Alan, what's his name? Alan Black, who I think is the god of all Brassavolas. He makes the best crosses. Yes, Alan Black. He makes me want to move to Florida, honestly. No, I think he's up north, upstate, like West Virginia or Norfolk or something like that. That's not West Virginia. Yeah, I think he's in Norfolk. He's a god. I met him and had dinner with him in 2019, and that was such a great experience. Yeah, he's in Virginia, and but he's always in Florida. He always goes to Sarasota. He seems like he's always down there speaking, and he's always bringing his little divisions, or not his divisions, but his seedlings that are not available anywhere. And so it makes me want to just join the Orchid Society just so I can come down there to a meeting just when he's there. Because otherwise, when are you going to get him? I was lucky enough to have him booked at the Illinois Orchid Society. But of course, you know what? The orchids that I got from him, I got 3 of them. I think one is still alive. The other 2 other ones burned up when I lost my Brassavolas, of course. So, I will never see those again. Never. But Brassavolas it's a species, as I said. It's widespread across, Mexico, Central America, the West Indies, South America. They're known for their nocturnal fragrance. attracting the pollinators with their often citrusy smell. And the flowers generally last between 5 and 30 days, and I did say it's nocturnal to attract those moths to pollinate. And I did mention Allen Black, but Brassavolas are widely used, especially Nodosa, Lady of the Night. It's widely used in cultivation. This is my Lady of the Night. Hey there, Fernanda. If you notice Denise's number, feel free to put your number down if you are interested in getting a Neophonetia. That is, if I can mail it to you. And I am not above taking the plant with me when I go to Italy sometime this spring or fall, and mailing it to you if you're in the if you're in the EU or wherever if I can get it to you. Borinjana, boy, Borinjana. Why did you say that? I have Borinjana on my mind every day. That's another topic, though. This is another topic as well. The number is, I'm giving away this Neophonetia today. That was a gift to me. And I figured, we could all just pick between 1 and 15. I don't think there'll be any more than 15 people that shows up. If there are, then I'll just have to add another number or go to 20, but that won't affect anything. But that wouldn't be so fair, would it? So anyway, that's that. But I can't anticipate everybody wanting a Neo that small, or anyway. We are picky orchaholics. So I'm going over my Brassavolas, and I will start with the Nodosa since I already was there. This didn't bloom for me last year, so I left it where it was. After it blooms, I will most likely take it out of the rock, although rock is a really good media for Brassavolas because they like the wet, dry cycle. And so if rock, just careful watering or mount, I found that mounting them really is the fail-proof method for me with Brassavolas in my mind. And what I was going to say about Brassavolas, what I was starting to say, was I heard Allen Black say, call it Brassavola. And then if you go on the AOS website and look up Brassavola, and they have when you go to Brassavola, when they're talking about the species, and they have the little thing where you can press and it'll say it for you. It actually says Brassavola. So from that point on, I will say Brassavola. It's somewhere over here. I don't know. I might have lost that. I'm not quite sure what I have, to be quite honest. I used to have 2 David Sanders. That one bloomed for me every year. That was a nice size, and then I had one I bought a mount that it was attached to. But I know I lost at least one of them. So, besides that, when that's there, this is a Brassavola right here. This is a species that is slowly recovering from cold damage. It used to be closer to the middle of the greenhouse, where I've always pointed out is a cooler little microclimate. I've since moved it over here closer to the heater. It lost a lot of growth. It lost a lot of new roots that it had put out on this plant, but it still has some growth there, and it seems to have stabilized. These seem to be firm. They're not weak. This is I don't even know if the tag is on the plant, but I know it's Brassavola flagellaris. It's a species. I already said that. And I'm just gonna sort of span to my left, and I know there's one right here. This is a recent one, Brassavola crosses. Hopefully you caught that, but I was saying I got this from Peter Lynn. He's Diamond Orchids. He's got a lot of nice Brassavolas and some crosses, and I have a few more. But I just have this soaking in the water to wick up some moisture because it's very dry. That's a Brassavola that's doing okay. This up here is a Brassavola that I managed to get off of this group right here. These two and some of these that are up here were ones that I managed to salvage and are still kind of resting. Not resting, but they're recovering from when the heater blasted them. This is the rack that used to be down there in the area that you've all seen the video, I'm sure, if you're watching me now. So let me move some of this out of the way so to make it a little easier. So this up here, I got this plant. I've actually bought this plant back from Italy a couple of years ago. And I know this is my BC Kiku, or whatever it's called, Rac Kiku. And I bet the name is probably, yeah, that's what it says. You can barely faintly see that, Rac Kiku. But it had a hard summer last year, although it continued to put out new growths. You can see some of the growths, did have some effect from the heat. But for the most part, I think I did save the plant. This is a very beautiful plant. I'm sure Denise probably has it. It's fairly common. You can get this in the States now. But I carried that all the way from Italy. I know that's got Brassavola in it. It's Rac. But this is another one of the rescues. This is my cucullata. So you can see how it started to brown up, but this latest growth on it looks okay. And then when I look closer at it, it's got root coming out up there. So it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, despite the fact that the rest of the roots on the plant are looking terrible, but it's gonna be okay. Especially when it's gets warmer outside. Now this up here used to be this is my baby up here. Probably still has a first place award on it somewhere from the Illinois Orchid Society, but it looks a mess, and it was sitting up there by the heater as well. This is my Brassavola perenni, which is a species. It's my favorite Brassavola. I just love it. I actually got another perenni because I didn't think that was going to make it, and I'll show that when I get down there. This right here is my BC Bill Worsley, and despite the fact that it looks like this was actually back in that area too, in front of the fan, and not in front of the heater. That's been since moved here. So this is the way this plant has always grown for me. This plant has always browned up a few years. The old canes, after they bloom, they always die for me. But it's got a little new growth right there. It's not bad. It's not as bad as what it looks like. And let me move this one temporarily. Sorry if you're hearing echo. I should just turn that off, or just see if I can mute this, because it's my computer there that took care of that. Okay, so back here, this is one that I got. I believe this is a Brassavola cross. Be Ridiculous crossed with Cattleya Mariba Tiger. This was actually sitting right next to all of the dead orchids that were burned. Luckily, this was okay. I pulled off some of the numerous growth that it had coming up was terrible. But I think the plant's going to be okay. This is a fairly new plant. This is Brassavola subulifolia. I've been trying to recollect a lot of my plants that I lost. I lost probably, 15 Brassavolas. I'm not sure what this is. Okay, this is a Brassavola cross. This is BC Florida Stars, Spring Zing, which is Little Stars crossed with Cattleya Mark Jones. So this is one I know that I am trying to keep far away from me because I know Mark Jones is a bifoliate, and I'm trying to minimize my water on that Brassavola until I see growths. So, yeah, I used to have a nice cucullata, but then I divided it and gave some of it away along with another piece of my crazy arachno that I have that I still have managed to save. Up here, this is my 1-year-old little division that I got from Bill Tom's. This is, it's Minnie Mouse, Nodosa Minnie Mouse. Really small. This did not do anything. I've had this for a year. Didn't do anything, and it did put up that new growth that's right there that we're looking at, this one. And it's green back up. It was very purple over the summer, and I had to back up off the heat. But it does have these little bitty roots that are attaching to the mount. So yeah, it's supposed to be a mini. That's supposed to be bloom size. That's a Bill Tom's special there. Okay, I don't think there's any more Brassavolas on there. That's not going to stay there. This is my sad plant that I've always talked about. Me and Todd always rag on. This is my BC Miami that I vow that if I don't get blooms off of this plant, very pretty flower. But it's never bloomed. I got this also from Peter Lynn. But the growths are very wonky. This is one of the latest growths. Look at it, it's pointed down. But it's got several new growths that are coming up, so I'm not giving up on it yet. It's a nice sized plant. This right in front of it is sitting here. Koshwal's Paradise. That sounds familiar. I don't think I have that anymore. Every time I hear that, I kind of pause. I know I used to have that, but I don't anymore. And I did lose another down here that I hate right here because it was getting too much freaking moisture. My BC Roman Holiday. I know that has Nodosa in it. I think that is probably chocolate drop with Nodosa maybe. And you can see that plant bloomed for me last year. Sucks. So I need to get one of those. I mean, I have to. I mean, I guess I don't have to, but I want to. I don't just take losses that are meaningful losses. And I have had that bloom for me every year for, gosh, that plant, I had that for, I don't know how many. And it had 2 growths. I was giving it away, giving divisions of it away. And then it just all of a sudden. But somebody asked me about my Bowringiana, Cattleya Bowringiana. And, well, I don't think I have one. I have one. It's a red Bowringiana. It's back there. It's a baby. That's pretty much all that I have of Bowringiana. Unfortunately, I have some crosses. But this plant has struggled with scale. It's not really mounted on there properly. The roots are just terrible looking. They're double. I mean, there's new roots that have come down off of these old roots. I really need to get it off of the mount. But this has struggled with scale a lot after it bloomed for me for some reason. And this is Golden Peacock. Everybody knows Golden Peacock. Richard Mueller times Prostechia vitulina. Is that Prostechia? Yeah, probably. What else? Right here is my rustic spots. I'm glad that I have that. That's a Richard Mueller cross. Very beautiful one. If you don't have it, changes colors as the flowers age. Starts out yellow and then ends up like a fiery red. I think there's a new growth coming out down here. And maybe, is that roots? But I'm sure everybody's in Florida is in full bloom. I'm sure Denise is too. Denise, you're probably bored already. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I want to be like you. I do. Do you? And that guy, Stephen Swinton, who has the most amazing encyclias on this planet. At least out in his backyard. Just amazing. So this is another Brassavola. This disappointed me last year. This is another faithful plant of mine. This is my Memoria Vida Lee. And BC Venosa crossed with LC Brazilian Treasure. Okay, Denise. Well, you can probably just see my sad plants and turn your head and look at your blooms on the same plants. This is my BC Venosa, which is nodosa, Brassavola nodosa crossed with Cattleya, not Gutata, but the other one, not a Clandii. What am I trying to say? Bicolor. So yeah, so it's another bifoliate, and I've struggled with this plant. It grows wonky for me like bifoliates do. You can see it's wonky, and I have to be very restrained when I water it. But I have to water it. If I don't water it, it won't bloom, the buds will blast. So I have to give it a trickle every now and then because it always blooms when it wants to get a rest. Isn't that screwed up? That's how I have to deal with that. I'm sure you all don't have that much problem, but I have to figure out those kind of dilemmas in my mind. But my Vida Lee looks really nice. Last year, it put up this growth and this growth, and they both have sheaths. And I just knew I was getting blooms. I didn't get a bloom. Now it's got new roots coming out on both sides. So we will see. I'm pretty sure it won't bloom from old spikes. I don't think it ever has. This is usually a summer bloomer for me. Very beautiful green plant. This is another Richard Mueller hybrid right here. This is BL Petite Stars. Little white flower with spots. It's kind of struggling right now. You see the weak growth. There's my nodosa. Let me see if I've missed anything. Going back over this way, and honestly, I still consider these to be Brassavolas. This up here is my, it's a cross. I'm trying to think what the cross is. Aristocrat, that's what it is, which is Digbiana crossed with Glauca. So technically that is a Brassavola. Technically, although now it's, what is it now? Cattleya? I don't know. Wrinkled Aelia? It's a Brassavola. As well as some of these have Brassavola in them as well. This is Brassavola Glauca right here that has sheath up here. That's just kind of peeking out there. Hopefully will flower for me. And this right here, this has some Brassavola in it as well. This is BC Little Mermaid. Okay, Wrinkled Aelia. Well, it used to be Brassavola, so I am old school. I kind of like the way Brassavola sounds now that I know how it sounds. I'm so silly. Okay, 35 minutes. Let me try to get on back This is going to be a long live. I might have to continue this later because I haven't even gone down there. So, okay, but I have a lot of Brassavolas. This is my, that Brassavola Little Stars, which is Brassavola. Still has always been a baby. It's in semi-hydro. I should probably consider mounting it. But as long as it's giving me strong growth, so I'll just leave it as it is, you know. Maybe it'll bloom for me one day. Right above here is another Brassavola. This is Brassavola BC Maikai times Little Star. Was pretty when it bloomed. It's got a new growth coming up there. Roots coming out of the pot. Is that a root? No, that's a tie. What am I saying? This is a Brassavola right here. It doesn't have a tag on it, and I noticed it today. But I know that it's something. It's a cross like Susan Hien Sing crossed with something else. But it's actually a name now. But that's what it used to be. I'm sure if somebody, Denise, you can probably figure out what it is. It's Hien Sing, Brassavola Hien Sing, maybe crossed with another Brassavola, Susan something. But it's a very pretty flower. You know, this is another Brassavola that I have right here. This is a Brassavola that is in sheath. Plant that I broke the buds off of. This is my Maikai crossed with Herbert Osterreich, which I think that has a name as well. Peach something, is it Peachy, Denise? I think you have one of those maybe. Yeah, I think it's Susan Fuke crossed with Hien Sing something. No Dosa Hien Sing or something like that. Peach Stars, yeah, this is Peach Stars. So this should be blooming at some point. It's got numerous sheets. I've showed that before. And this is my bad plant that I'm trying to save, but I'm giving up on saving it. I'm just going to get another one when I get the chance to order it online. This is my LC Sunset Glory that bloomed every year for me, and it just didn't have a good summer. Terrible. So that's my Brassavolas over there. Over here, I just repotted this one. This is a Rac Firestar. And this is a total rescue. This is my, I'm not sure if this is that's probably not a Brassavola, but it's a rescue. Don't look at that, it's ugly. Okay. I think that might be it for over here. What's this up here? I'm pretty sure that's it. Insing. Wow, I love seeing those roots. I love that. Brassavola cordata crossed with Catlianthe or whatever that is. Catatante. Elephant drops. That's this plant. I got that this summer, mounted it up as a division. And like I said, it's nice to see those roots on a new division. What else? Let me see. I don't see any Brassavolas over there. Those are all encyclias. Keep going back this way. This is a plant that I got from Peter Land that when I got it, it was completely like a pencil-thin, dehydrated mess. I repotted it. I used to give it soaks in water every couple of days. It did put out a new growth, and you can see this new growth looks like a mess. When I got it, these are the bloom size growths. So these are the other growths. I don't know. Maybe I need to give it more sphagnum moss. I'm just really hard to figure out what to do with that. Hi, Tracy L. So moving on up, I've got my Rudolphiella, whatever it's called. No, it's not Rudolphiella, but Rolf something Yunnan star, which has been recently mounted this summer on this, and it's got a new growth that it's right here. This is the latest growth. Right above it is my BC Richard Mueller crossed with Brassavola cordata. And this is the latest growth. This is just in pieces of tree fern, just slammed in there around the plant. So it gets nutrients from the tree fern, and it's loose so the roots can grab onto that and drain right through. This is one that I got from Alan Black, my one that is still alive, which I'm glad. It's my B. nodosa crossed with LC Luke Tone, and if you know me, you know I love Luke Tone, love it. This is dead, whatever it was. Above here is another, I believe this is subulatum that I got from Andy's. Yeah, it is not doing good. It's seen better days. By the way, I've taken all of these plants off of these Andy's mounts and remounted them. Took the media out and put fresh media in them and remounted them maybe last year, last spring. But I think this might just be too cold here. Behind here are some of these Brassavolas that I got from Nats. I've been trying to give these a little bit of a rest, although I still give them water. Denise, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. But these are from Nats, and you can see that's a growth that aborted. And there's another growth that aborted. So I've been trying to ration the water with these, because some of these are mixed with encyclias. I'm not sure what this is. Greenbird, Gyrac Treasure. But some of these have some encyclia crossed in it, so I'm not trying to give them full-on water, if that makes any sense. This one looks like it's got some growths coming up around there. This one is another Kiku. Okay, that's another Kiku. Thank God I have another one, because the one over there. But I tell you, Kiku has been through it all the way from Italy, well, via Germany. I think I got that from Clausen. But I had that in it was bare root when I got it. And then I carried it over here. And then I mounted it. It's been mounted probably 2 or 3 times prior to you seeing it as you did over there, all burnt up on that homemade cork mount. But this is, sorry for that story. This is another one that I got at Nats. It just says Rac Canary, which I have several of Gyrac. I love Gyrac. This is a burnt up little thing. I think this is Gyrac Star. Fire Star, yeah. This is one that I got from Italy that came with my other plant that I just showed you. My Kiku. And this was over here next to in the line of fire of my heater. That explains the burnt bits on it. It did have a new growth, but I think the new growth is toast. And this one over here, the last one that I got from Nats, is Rac Starburst. And that's a new growth that's just finishing up. Right here is my BC Inno Bourbon, and I know I saw this on Denise's. I think you probably have yours in bloom, but I think this is the latest growth, and it's got a sheath in there. So maybe I'll see some blooms. I don't think there's any more. That's a Cattleya. This is Star Ruby Xanadu. This is recovering, although this is some blasted growths. Doesn't look so good. It's just recently been repotted, so hopefully that'll do better. What I was going to say was I totally missed this one, which is Rac Canary, which I moved over here because it was getting too much light. You can see how purple it is. It is purple. But it has actually greened up some. But you can just see. So it's getting less light here. It's still got some nice roots coming out down there. Here's another Brassavola that I got. This is a David Lynn Diamond Orchids. Cochleata crossed with Nodosa. Sitting here, this is the latest growth. Did have a spike, but the spike aborted. Is there anything else? Glad you're all still here and sticking with me. This is a thrill for me. I'm glad you all are enjoying it. Me showing off my ratty looking collection. This is another Brassavola that is just barely hanging in there. This has always been in this spot, and you can see there's where the heater is. So it was always here. This is one that I got from Andy's that was remounted, and it put out all those roots. That's my grandiflora. This is another one that I mounted on this stick a few years ago, and it's doing okay. It put up some new growths this year. I did miss this up here, which is important. I know, Brassavola next to Angraecums. I think Brassavolas are probably my favorite. This is a prized possession because this is the last piece of this that I'll probably ever see. This is my hybrid. It's my Brassavola Crazy Arachno, which is Brassavola cucullata, and it's crossed with something else, which basically makes it a cucullata on steroids. It might be cucullata crossed with perenni, maybe, but that might be something else. I think that's something else. That might be George Tyler. I'm not sure, but that is a pretty big cucullata looking flower. Really nice, and I'm glad that I saved it. I did have a big, huge plant of this that was on a big mount, and the mount went bad, and so I divided it and gave some away, and I managed to save a piece. So I got to keep that. I got to keep that alive. This right here is fairly recent. It's got buds. I got this. I got it at Nat's, I think. I think I won this. No, I won this at a raffle. I did. I won this at a raffle at our Christmas party. And it had a bloom on it on maybe this spike. But the thing about perenni, in my experience, is my perennies in the past have rebloomed off of old spent spikes, which this might actually be. And that's why I love perenni so much. Besides the flower being so beautiful, it can actually rebloom off of, like if it's bloomed previously, then it can still put out more flowers after it's bloomed, like in that same year. I don't think it won't develop the flowers like in the next year, but like a week or so after it blooms, then it could push out more blooms, or a week or two after, but not a year, if that makes any sense. But that's my perenni. Showed you my other perenni down there. I have several, I have several. I have backups, I have to. This is another Nodosa that's mounted. Mas Mayor. Down here is Copper Queen, which is Toshiaoki, crossed with Richard Mueller, which Richard Mueller is a Nodosa cross. And that's a new growth that's right there. So that would be really nice. Copper Queen is beautiful. Actually, Copper Queen, I had to make a choice whether or not I would get that Racara Francis Fox that you all know, or Copper Queen, because they're both pretty similar in look. And also, I had to choose between Kiwani, Mendenhall, because the three of them look fairly similar, but the Francis Fox is a Stanhopea, so it gets this big, whereas this plant only really gets this big, Copper Queen. So, yeah, I bet you do. You have everything, Denise. We know who you are. We see you. We see you. So, yeah, that's that. Francis Fox is beautiful, though. So up here is a plant that I struggled with. My Sherry Style Sunshine. You can see it looks raggedy, bad, but it's alive. So hopefully it'll perk up this summer when it gets warm. I'm not sure what. Let me pull this down. Instead of saying I don't know what it is. That's lazy. I'm doing a video by all means. So I'm gonna get it down. And here it is. Hoxanara, Kulan, and you know what it is, not even a Brassavola. All that for nothing. Sorry. Okay. And I just saw a tag go down somewhere. Where did it go? I gotta find that. Sorry for all this bumbling. Okay. So right here in front of us, looks like there's another Rac. No, I'm just going to skip over that. Although that is a cross. It says Brassavola subulifolia crossed with, is that Why Not? Yeah. Why Not crossed with Brassavola subulifolia. Loving those new roots, green root tips. Here's the plant. Can't remember the flower. What's this? This is Wrinkled Brassavola Apache Sunrise, which again is another flower similar to Kiwani Mendenhall and Francis Fox and Copper Queen, in fact. Very rich colors, like a mosaic, not a mosaic, more like a tapestry of color. It's beautiful. I'm trying. There's my other North Miami. Yeah, okay, I'll skip that one. This up here is my Sunny Delight. Richard Mueller, and that's Sunny Delight. BC Sunny Delight times Richard Mueller. I don't know. But it's a big plant. I got this from Santa Barbara Orchid Estate. It's got a couple growths coming out of it. Did get some effects from that heat vicariously. That one burnt up there, but that's okay. And this right here I know is Kiwani Mendenhall, I believe. And where's my tag at? But I'm pretty sure that's Kiwani Mendenhall, because I know it hangs off crazy like that. Right here, this is Brassavola Gardneri crossed with Gardneri. It's a species crossed with a species, and it's got sheaths on it. I just thought that it was going to bloom. I put it up in higher light, hoping to coax it into bloom, but it's not budging. It's not budging. Right here is my Pepe Phoenix Kona, which is another prized possession. Very rich, dark flower, frilly, spotted. It's spotted. That's what it is, spotted. It's not frilly, it's dark and spotted. This right here is my Haiku Dawn. I know that might have been the tag that fell, but I know that's what this plant is. Did have some new growths that were coming up on it. And there's one that's right there. It's only been mounted on this plant, on this mount since last summer. And this is another subulifolium, I think. No, maybe this is whatever that is. Hawaiian lightning crossed with something. Looks like a nodosa. This is dead. Used to be my Reginae, and I have to get another one of those because that's a species. I want all the species. I want Martiana as well. I've only seen that over in Europe though, so I don't know. I may have to go on a scavenger hunt. That's another Haiku Dawn. I always struggle with this plant. I had a nice, this is actually a piece that I'm trying to save. I believe I put that on video. But I had a nice Haiku Dawn that was in bloom that just died before my eyes because it got water on it. I don't think there's any Brassavolas over in this corner. No. So that might actually be all of them. Let me double check. What's this up here? Golden Glory. I think Denise has that in bloom now. That might actually be all. Yay! Those buds are coming along. So yeah, that does seem to be, no, here's two right here. Here's another little division of Haiku Gem, Freckles, Patinara. That's got, I think it has Richard Mueller in it, I believe. And then this is my Richard Mueller, which is Newberry, HCC AOS. And these both have just been repotted. There's a new growth right there. That's got to be it. That spike on that is progressing on my Arangus. And if people that are just showing up, I'll just go ahead and I'll talk about those tomorrow because I've almost been on here an hour. But for those of you who might have missed this, I am going to show this again and end the video on this beauty right here that finally opened today. My adorable upwind. No smells of yet. I should be smelling because the wind is definitely blowing up in my direction. A crosswind. But yeah, I want to end that video on that beauty right there that I've been talking about for so long. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I know I've got a lot more to show you. I found spikes on my couple of dendrobiums, so that's a surprise. So hopefully you guys are having a good Saturday. Hopefully that video was informative and not really informative. I just want to share my collection. I mean, I'm not telling you how to grow it. It's an easy plant to grow, not too fussy, just likes warmth. So everybody enjoy your orchids, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye. Oh, you know what? Don't go. I got to do the drawing. Are you still here? Is everybody here? Are we here? Let me pull out my number. Did everybody put a number? My number was 15. If anybody, whoever, I'll have to go back over the chat and see what numbers people wrote down, because it's been an hour. So let me see if I can find the paper, because it was in my pocket, to prove that that's what I picked or what I wrote down. Okay, and I found it. So I just pulled this piece of paper out of my pocket. Sorry for my hand. Okay, so I pulled this out and I'm unwrapping it. And I'm wrong. The number that I picked, 14. So I'll go back over the chat, and whoever's closest to 14 or whoever picked 14 will get my little Neo right here. So, okay, everybody, I'm going to leave right now. So, I am not as old as I think I am. My brain is still working. Yes. All right. Okay. You would understand that my mother is kind of getting to have dementia, so I sort of am conscious of that thing. But anyway, I'm glad that I caught that, and I will go back over the chat, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.